Good evening. I have to say good evening now because at the beginning of every video, I used to say good morning because it was 10 o'clock. And now it is not 10 o'clock. It is 6:42. So I cannot say good morning anymore. So good evening. I hope you guys have had a lovely day. Here we had an unexpected 3.5 hour nap and I got nothing done because the entire time I just thought he was going to wake up. So there you go. What time zone are you? So I'm British summertime time. Oh, good one, Jessie. She's just done a nice burp. So I am the same time zone as London. I live in Birmingham, just south of Birmingham. So today what we're going to do is there's 5 super cute little yellow flowers. And today we're going to do 2. I'm going to show you which ones in the pattern here. So today we're going to do these 2 right here. Okay. These 3 here, you can kind of pick towards the end of the stitches that I show you. You can fill those in how you wish. Okay. So if you just want to say, I'm just going to fill them in with satin stitch, then you can do all 5 today, or you can wait and see what other stitches that we learn and you can take your pick of the ones to do for that. Yeah. Flissy Joy says, I didn't know you lived in Birmingham. I do too. Yes. I lived like just south of King's Heath by the Maple, kind of like between King's Heath and the Maple by Coxmore Leisure Centre. So there you go. That's where I live. Just telling lots of people. So we're going to do these 2 here. You do not have to use yellow if you don't want to. I'm going to use yellow. Hi, George. I'm just trying to decide between this yellow and this yellow, which is what I was doing before I came here. Harborne. That's not far at all. I do love Harborne. I'm leaning towards this one because it's a little bit like, you know, muted, but maybe I'll just do that. Maybe I'll just use this one. This one will be much more cheery, though. What do you think? Top or bottom? I'll give you a minute to pick. We've got 8, 14, or no number. Shock. Not shocked. Should I do the more subdued color? Oops. Or should I do the bright, bright one? What do you think? I've got to put this away anyways. Top. Patty says top. 1 vote for top. Okay, so, 2 bottoms, 1 top, bottom bright. Ooh, I say top. My 5-year-old says bottom. Oh gosh, that's like 3 and 3 now. Wait, that's 4 and 3. Okay, I'm gonna, every time I think I made my mind up. Okay, but firstly, what we're going to do is the satin stitch, just a regular old satin stitch. So we're not doing any angles. We're not doing any of the 3/4 or anything like that. I know I've taught those before. We're going literally parallel lines. Parallel lines are 2 lines that go next to each other, like the tops of my fingers here, and they don't touch. So they're not going to be on an angle this way. They're not going to be on an angle this way. They're not going to be tucked in, meaning like this. Like sometimes I've taught them where they kind of overlap a little bit like that. Not overlapped. They're all going to be parallel. Okay. I still have so many people. Bottom, 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 bottom. That's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's 10 for bottom. And then we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. 4. I've got to go with bright one. Okay, and what we're going to do for this is we're going to use 4 strands. So if you are the kind of person who likes to do the loop and enclose your needle in the thread, then you're going to take a super long one and fold in half, yeah? But if you're going to do just the 4 strands like I do with the tail, make sure to drink your water. Thanks for the reminder, Jessie. She's eating her food now. If you're going to do 4 strands, then you're just going to take 4 strands out. So let's do that. We need 4 strands. And before we even get started, we're going to take our pen out again. I'm actually going to get a different pen because this one's black. And I want to, Christ alive. There's the water. And yes, we're going to take the 4 strands out. I'm going to get a different color pen because we're going to actually mark on our fabric, and that will show you a really great way to draw some guidelines on your petals, and therefore you can stay on track a little bit better. So let's do our needle here. Tori's nails are inspiration for some of my flowers. I always try and change them. I'm really hard on my nails. They always break. But I'm even hard on these ones because, like, I don't, you know, some people when they have nails, they're like, oh, I can't pick it up properly. You know what I mean? I'm just like, boom, right in there. Like, no caution. Just straight up, like, bam. Okay, I thought I had a red one. I've got a blue one. And I thought I had a green one as well. Oh, here's the red. Red would be best because we'll be able to see it really clearly. Okay. Hello, Ruth. Okay, so I'm going to do this one here. Now, with the satin stitch, like I said earlier, we're only going to have parallel lines. So they're going to be like this, right next to each other, which means that it's a little bit difficult to figure out where you want your lines to go. And by changing the different direction that you want your lines to go, you want your stitch lines, you'll get a different look. Come on, you'll go outside. I know, that's exactly what you want. She eats and then has to poop right after. Go on. Go on. Took care of that, didn't I? So you'll see in some patterns, you'll have a stitch direction. You can tell which way the stitches are. You can put them on an angle, like maybe from this corner to this corner and make them angled like that. You can put them from this corner to this corner. You can put them straight sideways, or you can go up and down. And all 4 of those will have a different kind of look to your embroidery. So that's one thing to really think about if you're doing your own patterns, or if you've got someone else's pattern and you think, you know what, I think this would look better if the stitches went a different direction. Do it. Just have a go. Try. So what I like to do is you draw on your petal the lines, okay? Now, these are just guidelines. They don't have to be perfect. She says, as she makes like the most perfect lines ever. I like to do mine, okay, so that they go towards the middle of the flower. So they're just straight up and down. So these ones here will be like this. These ones here will be this way. Remember, we're trying our best here to do parallel lines. So none of them are going to be angled. They're just going to be straight up and down. I'm definitely a hoop turner. Sarah says, I need a dip nails along. I just can't get it. Yes. I'll come over, or you can come over to my house and we'll do it. So I've got 4 strands on my needle. Yeah. And the way that I like to do my satin stitch, everybody does them differently. Some people like to go left to right, right to left to fill the whole shape in at one time. I like to start in the middle. Right down the middle. So we're going to go, I'm just going to just dig right in here. Okay. I've got 4 strands. And what you can do is you can lay your thread right over where you want it to go. And therefore you know where you need your needle to go. Okay. So some people like to poke it right through the middle. I like to just kind of push it to the side a little bit and stick it in like that. Okay. So we're going to do a traditional satin stitch. And with the traditional way of doing a satin stitch, you always come up on one side and you always go down on the other. So if you started in the center here, you're going to come up on this side and go down on this side, up on this side, down on this side. If you started at the top here, yeah, you're going to come up here and down here, up here and down here. And someone just commented, Lauren, satin stitch seems so easy, but you're right. Everyone does it differently. They really do. And I feel like you need to find the way that works for you, because the way that I teach it, it might not be the way that works for you. But then you might think, actually, I'm going to give it a go and it might work. You just never know. So you just want it one stitch length away. So for this, the hardest part is knowing how thick your strands are, because if you put them too far away, you're going to actually see a line in the middle of fabric. And if you put them too close, they're going to be overlapping each other, and we don't want that either. So this way will be the traditional satin stitch. So like I said earlier, I like to do mine right down the middle. I feel like it gives me a better start to have like a nice full length line down the middle like that. Okay. So actually I could probably get these a little bit closer because I can kind of see a little line, but that's okay. Like we said, nature is not perfect, and we're paying special attention to the outside edge. So wherever you traced your flowers, however you trace them, if you traced your flower wonky, you're probably going to stitch it wonky. So this is another one of those where you should go back, have a look at how you traced it, and if that's the shape that you want your flowers to be. Because your petals. Because sometimes when I'm tracing it, I just kind of want to get the shape in there a little bit, and then later I go back and I think, oh my God, was I drunk when I drew this? Like, why are these lines so crazy? Like, because I'm just going to follow the line, especially if I already have it there. I've got all my grid out. I've got my needle done. I've got my thread on, and I'm just like chilling, and I just want to do my stitching, you know? I'm not really thinking about, wow, this petal is very oddly shaped. I'm just kind of following the lines. So if you're like me, then just fix them a little bit before you get started. And that way you can kind of zone out. Now I keep saying traditional satin stitch because there's a thread saver version as well. And the thread saver version does exactly what it says that it will, and that is save thread. So if you find that you're running out of thread, or maybe you picked a color that you don't really have that much of, and you think, oh, I still want to use it, I feel like I can make it work, then you can. Now you see these stitches here, they don't go all the way to the middle, and that's because the way that my parallel lines ran, I need to fill in the shape, and the shape is more round on the sides than it is all the way down to the thing here, all the way down to the middle. So I wanted to have that nice little round look, and actually I could probably put another one here, but I'll wait and do that all the way around. So let's look at the back. The front should be all the same direction. Okay, you can run your needle through like this as well if you feel like it needs to be blended a little bit. Do that sometimes. Okay, so it should be all the same direction. It is not weird to really enjoy the popping sound of the needle through the fabric. I love it. I absolutely love it. It's probably one of my favorite sounds. It's so soothing to me. So they should be all the same direction, all parallel, and the front should look exactly like the back, almost. Okay, I say almost because I started in the middle, which means that when I got to this other end, I'm going to have one piece of thread that goes all the way over here because I started here and went to the other side. So let's have a look. And that's exactly what we see. Yeah, we filled in the one side. And then here, I took this one piece of thread and went all the way to here and then filled in the other side. Now the thread saver method is just, you get the same result, except you come up and go down on the same side that you just did. Okay, so let me show you that way as well. So for this one, I'm gonna go up here. Now the traditional way, I would come up again on the middle, in the middle here, and go down up here at the top. But remember, we're doing the thread saver way. So I've just gone down at the top, and all we're going to do is take one little step sideways and come up on this same side. Yeah? And then down at the middle. And remember, we want those parallel lines. We want them to be nice and straight right next to each other. Okay? Now we've come down in the middle. We're going to go back up in the middle. Remember, this is the thread saver one. So what I'm doing here is saving thread. I'm not going to have the same amount of thread on the back as I do on the front. So this is super important if you're running out of thread, or even if you're running out of thread on your needle and you're like, oh, I don't really want to get any more. Maybe I don't want to separate my threads. Maybe I'm just feeling lazy. Maybe I'm running out of time and I'm like, oh, actually, I just want to finish this one little piece before I have to put it all away. And you can kind of mix in the thread saver method with the regular method to get a little bit more bang for your buck, thread-wise. Okay, so we're going back up here at the top. Hi, Mel. I've missed you guys so much. Okay, so let's go right back over. So we got to do the other side. I'm telling you, I'm just weird. I like to do it in the middle because for me, it just sets me up to kind of fill in the shape on one side and fill in the shape on the other side. If you are one of those people who can do the whole shape like left to right, and you have no problem like keeping those parallel lines straight, then go for it. Like 100%. Just, do it. It's absolutely fine. Now, the reason that the thread saver method doesn't lay as flat is because actually what's happening is that you're going down and you're kind of pulling the thread like this. So you're going down, yeah? And then you're making the thread go around like this. And do you see how it doesn't actually lay flat down here? Even if I put them really, really close together, it's still going to have like a small little turn like that. Yeah? That's the reason, if you wanted to know. But I do have a trick to help them lay a little bit nicer if you are running out of thread and you do need to do the thread saver method. Let me just fill this in here. So Nem is saying that could you do like one and then skip a space and do another one and then skip a space and then go back and fill in the other ones? You can, but the issue with that is that if you aren't really great at knowing how specifically thick your thread is, then you're gonna have to go over some areas more than once, which means that it would be a bit bulky in that area and it wouldn't lay flat in one line, okay? So imagine like if I had like all of these threads, yeah? But some of them were a little bit overlapping like this because I had to fill the space, but they weren't all perfectly laid out flat. Does that make sense? So obviously, like I tell everybody, give it a go, try it. Because if you are really great at knowing how thick your thread is and how far over you need to go if you skip one, do you know what I mean? So like if you go from here and then your next one, you need to just have one here and then have one there. So like to skip that middle one, if you know exactly how far away that is, then try it. Definitely try it. So the trick for making these nice and smooth is to run your needle through them. And sometimes that's just enough to smooth out where it turns at the end there. Okay, so let's look at these two on the back and see what the difference is. I'm sure that you know what the difference is because you guys are so smart. Because you've obviously signed up for the stitch along, so I know that you're smart people. But this is what it looks like on the back. So the first one we did is completely covered front and back. The front and back should look very similar, completely done. Yeah. The second petal, you can see it's the second one here. You just have these tiny little stitches where I've kind of sidestepped and then gone back up to the top and then sidestepped and then gone back down to the bottom. So you're saving a lot of thread there. But it doesn't actually work if you, one, aren't comfortable doing it. And two, This your little woven rose has a little face on the back. This is cute, isn't it? Yeah, so like it's not going to work if you aren't confident in doing it and confident in stitching. Just because I feel like you're going to focus too much on how far over to go and how thick your thread is. Try this for a little bit, and then what I like to do is mix the two together. So I'll show that as well. So sometimes if it's more convenient to just go back to the top and do it again, then I will. Other times it might be more convenient for me to just do a little side step over and fill that in. So it's just completely up to you. I like to mix the two, and I tend to do it without even thinking, without kind of thinking, oh, I think I'm going to do the thread saver method here. I more just do some stitching, and it just happened. I just happen to mix them like naturally. Just like I'm just a natural at this. Just a big natural. That's all. Oh, ridiculous. Ridiculous. Okay, and just remember, we want to keep the shape of those petals. So we don't want them to look like little boxy, like, have we got a spare fabric around here somewhere? We don't want them to look like this. Okay? Yeah? We want to keep them nice and round like that. And that means you might have to put a couple little straight stitches just here and here, you know? So that it's not just like boom, 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 and then the top just has a little hump. 4 strands. That's what you get for coming late, Mel. I'm just kidding. She did her, what'd you say, Pilates? Were you doing Pilates? You've been so good with working out. Honestly, I've seen all your posts because they pop up, you know? So good for you for like sticking with it. I still have to do my stretches from the physio because my back has not been very good at all. And surprisingly, it's like not even from like pregnancy and stuff. It's from the C-section, because I ended up having a C-section. This one did not go all the way to the end, and that's really bumming me out. But let's just see what it looks like on the back. So you can see here, yeah, that I kind of mixed the two. Do you see? Hi, Eleanor. So you've got the long ones in the back, but then you also have a couple little short little thread saver ones. So that's always fun. I feel like if you can kind of mix them together. And the other thing that I like to do is if you use a little less strands, you can get away with putting in a couple extra stitches places. So yeah, there will be another, oh, is that David back? Miss Jessie's like wagging her tail. Maybe not. You can get away with putting a couple extra stitches in places if you use less strands. If I would have used 6 strands, they kind of like overlap a bit and they look a bit chunky. So you kind of have to think. Come on. You kind of have to think like, what is the look that you're going for? And I always say there's no right or wrong in terms of how many strands to use, because you might like things really nice and smooth, meaning one layer, like you can almost like touch it. It's so soft and smooth looking. But other people might like it more like chunky and thick, and that's completely fine too. So the whole point of stitch-alongs like this, where we do just a little bit each day, is to like experiment with different strands, with different colors, with different stitches, and then you can kind of see like, oh, 6 strands, I love it. Or 6 strands, I hate it. I really don't want to do this. And some people, they just don't like using that many strands or that color or that stitch. And you're only going to figure that out if you try it. Because if you don't try it, you won't know if you like it or not. When I was a nanny, I think there used to be this show, and I don't remember what show it was, but the people in the show, like in the cartoon that they used to watch all the time, they used to say something like, try it, you'll like it. Maybe it was like Dora the Explorer or something, or like a little like baby Einstein or something like that. But like the person that I used to nanny used to always say it. They'd be like, try it, you'll like it. Like no matter what we were doing. And it's true. Getting some inspiration from children's television shows. This is the comment that Nem said he typed out and then swiped and it all disappeared. Okay, it was about how bad my satin stitch was the first time I did it at the start of the jungle stitch along. Oh. And by the end of it, I just about worked it out. Oh, so good. I love that. There's 4 strands. Honestly, it's hard to keep all of the stitches parallel when you're used to making them a little bit angled as you go closer. So there we go. That's pretty much it for today. We're doing satin stitch. I know I explained at the beginning. I know a lot of people have joined since then. We're only doing these 2 flowers for today. The other 3 flowers, you can pick what stitch you want to do. There's going to be a day towards the end where you've got like details. And if you want to try and experiment with some of the other stitches that we learned, you can do it with those. They're great because they're not real big, but they're not real small. And the petals some of them are quite like wide petals and some of them are quite thin and skinny. So a lot of different stitches will work for them. So that's your little sign that you can do your own thing. And I think by the end of it, you'll be more confident as well. So you can think, oh, actually, I'd like to try that stitch again, or I'd like to practice that stitch again. Or you can just say, nope, I'm not doing that. And there's so much more that you can add to these as well. You can do little straight stitches inside to like add another color. Yeah, so at the beginning of the video, I show all the things, so you might have to go back and watch it, but it's all of the yellow colored flowers. There's 5, there's 2 at the top, and then there's 3 at the bottom kind of hanging down. And then all the other ones we're actually going to fill in ourselves, like I'm going to tell you the stitches. So that's fun. Such a different, like, time, like, because normally I go live in the morning for these at 10. And now it's in the evening and it feels so weird. It feels wrong. It doesn't feel like a stitch along. It's like, it feels like, I don't know. It feels like I'm just hanging out with friends. Can we still purchase the pattern? Yes. So actually this pattern and all of the other patterns are on my Etsy or my actual website, which is thebarmyfox.com. The Etsy is just thebarmyfox.etsy.com. Not all of the past stitch-alongs are on my website, but a ton of them are on Etsy because I only opened my website last year. Actually, it was at the end of May, right before I did the advent calendar, which is going to come out soon, by the way. So keep an eye out for that. Super exciting. I'm so glad for the new time. I'm in California, so catching it live is so fun. Yay! It just feels so weird, doesn't it? And then Nem is making fun of Mel because she always has about 50 projects all at one time. Like, genuinely. She'll probably have, like, one of these for her mother, one of them for a friend, for a gift. And then all the other projects that she just has because she likes to stitch. So we love you, Mel. We do. I'm not winning thread chicken this time. Absolutely not. So I'm not even going to try. I don't know if I've spoke about it before, but one of the people, someone bought one of the stitch along patterns, and they were wondering where the videos were. And so I said that all the videos are on Instagram and on YouTube. And she was like, that's so selfish, putting them on Instagram and on YouTube so that you can get likes and followers on Instagram and YouTube. And I was like, it's not why, but okay. And they had a lot of words to say that were not very nice. But I was like, I'm not getting paid to do these videos on, like, every time that someone watches it. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not why I put them up. It's just for convenience. So people can watch them again. She was not happy at all. And she's like, I thought I was getting quality video tutorials. And I was like, they are quality video tutorials, so you just have to watch them. She's like, why do I have to go to YouTube to watch them? That's ridiculous. I was like, well, you could also go to Instagram. It just made me laugh. You're so selfish running a business store. I just thought it was really funny because I don't know how she thought the videos were gonna be. Like, they had to be somewhere that you could watch them. Do you know what I mean? Like, how else could I give you a video? I don't know. But it just made me laugh, honestly. It just made me laugh so hard because she's like, you're just trying to get more Instagram followers and Instagram views and YouTube views. But I was like, honey, I'm not. Okay. Tell me where you can get 3 weeks of tutorials for like $12. Just tell me. I think it's $13 actually. Sorry. Yeah, YouTube is free. I think she thought that I'm like one of those people who, if you get a view, you get like a penny or something. But I don't get paid for YouTube stuff. So I've just put them up there to put them up there. But oh my gosh, it made me laugh so hard. I did have a question here. Hold on just 1 minute. I'm just scrolling back. I have a super old pattern that I never got to start. I might be able to find them on YouTube. So if it's a stitch along, the stitch alongs, they all say stitch along on them, and they don't actually have any instructions on them. They're just the pattern, and they'll look like the pattern that you've purchased from here. The patterns, they don't have videos. They just have instructions, and they come with the stitch guide now. If it's super old, it might be one of the really first ones I did where there's pictures of me stitching up the pattern. Those were like the first ones that I did, but it took too long and the files were too big. And then I was having trouble putting them on Etsy because Etsy, you're only allowed 20 megabytes of files. I don't know if you guys know all this stuff. You know what I mean? But yeah, the files were just getting way too big with all the pictures and stuff. So I had to just do it a different way. So now they look a little bit different. I can show you if you want. So they're all still the same patterns and everything. They just don't have videos, but instead they have this stitch guide that's inside them. Here we go. Oh, that's a stitch along. Let's go to, here's the May 2022. And even if you did get paid per view, why does it hurt her? You know, I'm not really sure, but she just wouldn't stop messaging me. And there were emails. So it was like reply. And I was like, oh, thank you for that. Thank you. Okay. Thank you for your feedback. And like, oh, I'm sorry that you feel that way, but thank you for your feedback. And she just kept replying. And I was like, I can't be nice any longer. You're really trying my patience here, lady. But honestly, it just made me laugh. So it was like, thank you very much for your feedback. I really appreciate you saying that. I will definitely take that into consideration. I don't know what else to say to you, babe. But this is what they look like now. So you've got your little intro and stuff and how to do it. And then the stitch guide is like in the pattern now. So like the straight stitch, it tells you how to do each of the stitches that we're going to use. The stem stitch, and I drew all these. So aren't they so great? And then all the stuff's in there and it just tells you how to do them basically, like written instruction, but then also a little picture. So these are all the stitches that we're going to learn. And then how to finish your hoop. And then you get these last pages here. So that's the actual pattern. And then there's a colored in version. And then you get the top tip stitch guide. Yeah, so it tells you what stitch to do. And then what colors we're going to do as well. So they kind of look a little bit different now. Let me see if I have a really old one. Probably not, actually. This one, actually, because I sent it to Veronica the other day. It's going to download, so let's just wait for that. But, yeah, the old ones would have, like, 80 pictures in them, and they would all be filled with photos, and it would kind of show the needle going in, like, every single stitch, which was so good, but honestly, the files were just too big. This is my first stitch along and I've already learned a lot. Thank you tons. Yay! Oh, I'm so glad. Nem says your PDFs are always so detailed and lengthy. Yeah, because I just feel like I don't ever want anyone to purchase something and then feel like, oops, that was a close call. And then feel like I can't do this because there's not enough information. So these were the old ones. The old ones, they're still downloading. Look. Okay, so this is just to do the wagon wheels. So this is the outline of the jar, wagon wheels, and then to show you how to do all the rest of it. But yeah, the pictures, they just took so long. They just took so long to do. And then, like I said, the files would get big. And then if you make the files smaller, it makes the pictures blurry. So it was like a whole thing. Do you know what I mean? So I was like, right, I need to try and fix this. I think I'm going to redo all my kits too because I can't get any of these bit.ly things. I can't fix it. I'm not quite sure what's going on. Oh, I think he might be home. Well, that's fine because we're almost finished anyways. There we go. So we finished one whole flower. Let me just see if he needs help real quick. You all right?
Is it finished?
No. No. But I thought, look, well, you can come in. Just go in the other room, close the door. All right. Okay, so weird that it stopped working. Yeah, I don't know why. And I put a little ticket in for them. So I have no idea what's the deal, if you know what I mean. But it is what it is at this point. Okay, so what we've got here, we've got these two flowers, just the petals we're doing. So we've got these ones here and these ones here. You can either fill in this one, and this one, just the petals, okay? So don't fill it in the middle. Don't do the stem. Don't do the leaves. No, just do the petals. And yeah, that's all we're doing today. So definitely these two. These three, you can either choose to do the 4 strands of satin stitch, or you can wait and do them later after we've learned a couple more stitches, and then you can actually pick which one that you want to fill it in. Some people get a little tired of satin stitch and they're just like, nope, not for me. Other people love it and they use it all the time. So it just depends on what you like to do. So hopefully you learn something new. No. Yeah, don't do it. All right, well, enjoy. I will speak with you guys tomorrow, probably around the same time. Be sure to tag. I didn't show you this yesterday, and I can't show you because I'm not logged in on that on my Instagram. But make sure that you're tagging the Barmy Fox SAL, and you can tag me in your stories, and then I can repost it. If you haven't finished, then that's fine as well. It doesn't have to be like a I'm all done, here's my work type thing. You can kind of do a progress shot or whatever. And if you have time, please go to the hashtag the Barmy Fox SAL. Just one SAL. Go there and like and comment on some other people's work, because when I was first starting out stitching, honestly, it meant the entire world if someone would like it or comment, or they'd be like, wow, that's such a beautiful color or something. And I'd be like, oh my God, wow. Like, they've taken time out of their day to like do that. And even now it still means so much. Like, you'd think like, oh wow, she gets tons of comments or tons of salsa. No, do not follow Nem's advice. Stay away. He's just put hashtag SALSA, spelling salsa. But even now, it's like, it's amazing. Like, I love it because it gets you kind of involved in the community part of it, not just you're sat at home watching a video, stitching by yourself, because that's not the case. Like, there are over 200 people who are doing this. So I think that's incredible. And we're here to support each other. Okay. So enjoy your evenings or your day if you're just starting out. And I will see you guys tomorrow. All right. Bye.